Hey, happy Valentine's Day. My video today, I haven't been making a lot of videos lately because of my stomach ulcers from the Toradol. Having gallbladder attacks, like full gallbladder attacks, and I'm having kidney stones too. How nice, eh? So that's what's been happening with me lately. This is called arachnoiditis. Arachnoiditis or adhesive arachnoiditis and God. So I'm hoping to have my gallbladder taken out. That's the point I'm at right now. So when you see me getting sick in all of my earlier videos, that's what it is. So adhesive arachnoiditis and God. Many of you might say, who have adhesive arachnoiditis or arachnoiditis, that these two have nothing to do with one another, but for me it does. And I think for everyone it does. If you look in the Adhesive Arachnoiditis Handbook, it says, consult your God, but don't pray that it will resolve your disease. Because, they say, when you suffer from a disease, it's good to pray for God to help cure you, right? But for this, it's a different story, 99.9% of the time, because it's progressive. And I agree with that part. But every disease needs God's help. If you're just tuning in for the first time to my videos, I have other pains and injuries that go far beyond this disease. You're going to have to look back in my story to see what they are. I didn't want to make this video like a while back because I was taking Toradol. And so that might sound funny to some people, but it's true. It felt like I had an unfair advantage. But it was necessary for my pain and inflammation. But I think most people taking Toradol, they don't take it for the long haul. I wanted to be able to identify with most adhesive arachnoiditis sufferers. Maybe I'm wrong. We all need something to stop it. I took Toradol for 10 years on and off, but 5 of those years was full-time, so I'm not taking it now. I have 4 stomach ulcers from the Toradol for the adhesive arachnoiditis, and it's been about 63, 64 days without it. I can walk, actually, I think just as good, but that's through a lot of strengthening, though. It sounds funny, but most people go on it for about 5 days or so, and then they have to pull it away because of the possible GI effects. So now I can identify with people who aren't taking it chronically. So now I can make a video of hope. Sorry, I gotta check my camera here. See if it's running. Okay. Adhesive arachnoiditis suffers very widely. I'm going to tell you where I was in life and where I am now despite that. I was couch-bound first, wheelchair-bound, and bed-bound, which was the scariest because of the other things that I was suffering with it concurrently. This disease hit me so fast. It was from blunt force, and it happened within 6 months to 1 year. So it progressed to severe leg, back, and spinal pain within about 1 year. That was 2009. I only received my diagnosis in 2021, so 12 years later. So I suffered because of that. At the start, I didn't know what was happening to me. I already had severe intractable full body pain. This caused me to drink for pain control. ketamine and lidocaine infusions didn't work for me for more than 1 day. I was invalidated for the equivalent terminal cancer pain for 12 years. It was mostly 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, part of 17. I was completely bound on my ass. I've been housebound for much longer. My life got so bad. I have so much trouble with my memory of those years. I don't really remember those years, like 2010, 11, 12, because it was all the same. There was so much suffering. Every day was just the same. So especially the first 3 years. There was no pleasure, pain control. I hated watching everyone else's lives. I don't mean jealousy, but I hated watching everyone else's lives, success, pleasure, relationships, vacations, watching people go on vacations, talk about all this type of stuff. The holidays weren't the same anymore. The only thing I could do was watch television. I watched the military themed channels, history channels, for like thousands of hours. I had severe abdominal issues not associated with adhesive arachnoiditis, and it complicated my picture. It was 2015 when my legs got to their worst point. What I mean by that is the number of spasms and contractures. When I tried to stand up, my legs felt like wooden boards that could be cut by a butter knife. It felt like you could take just the dullest knife and I was lost for a long period of time, and I went into deep suicidal depressions. My hygiene went downhill. Showering, bathing, dressing, shaving were literally 10 times harder because they all involved standing. I remember feeling proud from being able to shave. I remember going and shaving and then lying back in my bed and being like, holy cow, man, I shaved. It really was like that. Although I always believed in God, this didn't feel God ordained. It's a wonder to me how people and even doctors aren't aware of the amount of suffering in this disease, let alone being invalidated. To me, it was the equivalent of mocking a cancer patient, a terminal cancer patient. Diagnosis, even with an MRI, which wasn't ordered until 12 years after the incident, wouldn't have mattered anyway, because even with obvious root adhesions, the radiologist wouldn't have said a word. Believe me, I feel lucky, even after 12 years, to have reached the right people, and that was God. It was quite clear my life was over. Everything I knew previously wouldn't be experienced ever again. My issues are probably different than yours because of my other issues. My abdomen rules my life. At one point, I stopped eating completely for a reason of vomiting, nausea, severe colic, of which I am finding answers right now. My point is that my case was lost. I hope this does give hope, because I thought my multiple injuries finished me off. You can watch my other videos to see. Okay, so if you look back at my videos, you can see my story. I remember what a psychiatric file I read, it said that my prognosis at best was poor, meaning like I would probably die within the next little while. I have cachexia with this disease, not anorexia, cachexia. I wasn't jealous of others. It wasn't nice seeing people do things I no longer could. Only so many people knew I could run faster, and nobody could swim faster than me. But then suddenly you find yourself having no choice but to accept it. After 6 years with this disease, complications other than just the adhesive arachnoiditis led me to a bedbound state. I was on my back. I could barely breathe. I was trapped for months on end. I didn't have sleep medications I couldn't take anymore. I didn't have opiates. I didn't have Toradol. I wasn't eating and drinking by that point. As I lay on my back, I spent countless of hours imagining myself writing how I got here and how impossible that would be to accomplish. So when I was on my back, I didn't think there was any possibility I'd ever get back to any degree of normalcy. My only wish was a peaceful death. That's what I wanted. I wasn't taking pain opiates because of my bowel, and it just messed everything up. I remember one day I stood up from my bed, and the contractions were so strong. I thought, what the fuck is this? Like wading through a strong river. Like when I walk, it was like there's so much force against it. That felt like no hope to me. I remember going down my hallway. It was like the equivalent of being well and going for a 5-kilometer walk. I was so tired and weak from no sleep. My legs were up to my chest constantly to lessen the contracture and spasms. There were many times where all I could think of was building my strength up. That's all I hoped for. I thought it was key to my story. I was cachexic, and that made it seem impossible. I barely spoke for 2 or 3 years. I didn't speak in any long or even medium conversations unless it was with a health professional. In all honesty, I don't remember blaming God or even asking for his help. I'm sure I did at some point. It's possible that God uses sick people to help others. I think it's quite obvious that is. That to me it is. You look at my channel. I don't get many hits. I don't get many views. But does that matter though? I would like more hits, but I do realize if I help a few people, then it is worth it. I couldn't even use my last crutch, which was the cigarettes I was smoking. They were making me unusually sick. Sorry, breathless. Food, cigarettes, friends, sex, it was all gone. My world as I knew it was gone, and it went far beyond the pain. I couldn't breathe. I had breathing issues. I had sensory nightmares. I didn't want to be alive. Just before my mother died in 2017, I biked for cancer. That's another story. That's what I did. I had cellulitis in my legs or something very similar. My legs became extremely painful. My mom's death forced me onto my feet. Yes, I could walk, but it was a solid 10 pain, even with the Toradol. Around these years, I was forced onto my feet like in the hospital involuntarily. It put me in a space where I felt I could have sat if I wanted, but it was so uncomfortable. I'm one of those adhesive arachnoiditis sufferers that stands all the time, where I felt no other choice. I chose to stand and take the pain rather than on my back and be breathless. If my pain doses had been higher all along, I may have been standing, but they caused complications to my abdomen. My main point is that I forced myself. Was that willpower? Probably yes and no. I didn't want to be left out or stuck on my back. I tell you, I could only walk less than 1 kilometer an hour. In 2016, I was slower than a person with, or as slow as a person with Parkinson's disease, like advanced. It looked impossible to me no matter which way I looked. It's not hard to understand from the actual sufferer how much pain it could take to strengthen up. Personally, I believe you can, but through pain, unfortunately. The contractures and adhesive arachnoiditis can make life very difficult. They need to be stretched out, relaxed, bathed, walk. They need to be used, like a use it or lose it. with pain medication, mind you. So you do need pain medication with this. Where I lived with my parents was a 2-story house. I used to fly up and down those stairs. For a 4-year period, I didn't climb them unless during the day, unless it was completely necessary, if I really, really needed something. As a matter of fact, I didn't even bend over. I didn't bend over anymore because it hurt too much. So how does God have anything to do with my story? I didn't know I had it for 12 years. I couldn't fight what I didn't know existed. In 2018, after a lot of suffering and back on my feet for good, I caught on to my diagnosis. It didn't come for another 3 years though, but I had a clue. I jumped from one disease to the next because of the number of spinal symptoms, because it resembles so many things. It felt like a dead end everywhere I turned, every doctor I visited. I did talk to God, and I did ask God for help. I never blamed God for my suffering. I remember going to specialists and asking God, please let this be it. So when I go to an appointment, I'd be like, just give me a fucking answer, please. I just wanted answers. I didn't care what it was. A true answer would have sufficed. I know and recognized it can't be like this for everyone with adhesive arachnoiditis. I believe for some sufferers, the answer to getting better might be through excruciating rehabilitation of the body and the mind. So I understand that some are stuck in wheelchairs. A lot are stuck in wheelchairs in beds. I understand that. And that's why I make this, because I was there for a long time. I couldn't tackle any of these issues because I was barely eating like 200 calories a day. You can't build much from no calories. I didn't get along with my dad in close quarters. I was forced to move out by myself in this shape. And that's the culmination of my story. Being alone taught me more than I could have hoped for. A very painful journey though. Most of my journey towards building myself back up was without the diagnosis. It was through chores, exercise regimens, sleeping schedules, and eating that got me here. And the Bible and God. You have to watch my life story and my earlier videos to learn how God rescued me from further pain. There are pains that all you can do is cry out to God. Right now I'm having acute gallbladder attacks lately. That's why I'm just brutal. Chronically, and kidney stones. That's all I can do. That's all I've been doing lately, just going to hospitals over and over and over, but I understand. I think God is underestimated in any kind of disease, especially when it's all consuming. Without God's help, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. It wasn't that he wasn't with me for all those years. Maybe I didn't reach out enough to him. Maybe God uses people as examples, and I truly do believe that. Don't underestimate the power of God. This is one disease that you do need him, and I fully understand that praying for a miracle of cure won't work because of progression. It doesn't mean you can't get better though. It's your frame of mind. For me, and I'm sure for many others who have discipline, and I'm going to make another video in a couple weeks or whatever about discipline, because believe me, that's the key to everything. Was the only way I could manage such a painful disease. And now with no Toradol at all, that gave me 4 stomach ulcers. They're still healing. I'm not trying to push God in you, because that would be wrong. Why not read one passage a day from the Bible? It's helped my life more than I can tell you through truth, lessons of everyday living, and how to treat others. When I was trapped on my back, I couldn't walk and breathe. It was the worst nightmare possible. It was evident that my life was over with, and I was 95 pounds. through circumstance I was brought here. So that's it. Okay, you can click off now. I open up the Bible when I get up in the morning. I don't look at anything else. When I get up in the morning, I read just one passage of the Bible. I've been through the New Testament about a number of times, and now I'm on the Old Testament, and it's good and it helps. It really does, I think, and I think it can help you. And that doesn't hurt to pray to God, does it? And I think the difference between when you're all you need is help, you're in so much pain, is be true to God. You have to be true to God to get his help. Thank you for watching.